is lot more greater than the creation of the human being. For example, in Surah number 40, verse 57, we read this revelation of God, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ, that the creation of the heavens and the earth is surely greater than the creation of the mankind, but the people know not. And dealing with the same topic, creation of the universe, we also see that the Holy Quran has mentioned so many scientific realities, those realities which are scientifically established by the modern sciences. For example, the theory of the Big Bang. We see that it has been mentioned in the Holy Quran some 1420 years back. If we read the chapter Al-Anbiya, the prophets, verse number 30 to 33. I will take your permission to read it from the Holy Quran directly, just to be more accurate. I'll just read out the translation because we have running short of time. This is chapter Al-Anbiya, the prophets, verse number 30 to 33. Have not those who disbelieve known that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one united piece? Then we parted them, and we have made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? And we have placed on the earth firm mountains, lest it should shake with them. And we placed therein broad highways for them to pass through, that they may be guided. And we have made the heaven a roof, safe and well guarded, yet they turn away from its signs. And He it is who has created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, each in an orbit floating. Again, I may mention an established fact of science, that every celestial body in the space is floating
in its own orbit.
Yeah. Like 1 century ago, it was the theory that sun is stationary, it is not moving.
Sure.
And Quran has mentioned like 1400 years back that everything in the space is floating. Kullun fi falakin yasbahun, each in an orbit floating. So these verses tell us very plainly that God the Almighty, it is He who has created the universe, and He actually wants us to explore this universe, to see the creation of God the Almighty, and to study this aspect, study the universe, and see His signs, His proofs in the universe. And this all again comes to the one purpose, that when we come to this reality that He is alone, the creator of this universe, we should worship Him alone, not several gods.
Right. You mentioned several things in these verses that you recited. One being, for instance, that He created heavens, not heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And He created universes, not one universe.
Mm-hmm.
As it is being told to us, or rather confirmed by science today, that this universe that we see or we can reach by whatever tools that we have today is only a fragment of the entire universe.
Sure.
That God Almighty has created. Okay. Now we've talked about exploration briefly. Is there something else Quran tells us that we ought to explore and study?
Yeah. Firstly, as you have said, that there is no one universe, or there is no one world. There are worlds or universes. And we believe, according to the science, that there are millions of galaxies in the universe. And our galaxy, which is a middle-sized galaxy, is called Milky Way. And scientists believe that it has some 400 billion stars in it. And if you want to travel from one side of it to the other side, you have to travel at the speed of light, which is, I believe, 186,000 miles per second. If you travel on this speed, it will take you 100,000 light years
to get there. So it's beyond comprehension.
Yeah. So it is beyond our comprehension, and according to the Holy Quran, this universe is still expanding. For example, in the Holy Quran, we see this verse, وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. This is chapter 51, verse 47, which means that this heaven, we have made it with our own mighty hands, and we are going to expand it. The universe or the space is all the time in expansion. It is expanding. And regarding the exploration of the universe, it is always encouraged by Islam, by the Holy Prophet, by God Himself. For example, if we see this verse in Surah or in chapter Al-Jathiyah, which means the kneeling, verse number 13, this chapter number is 45, it says, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مِّنْهُ. And He has subjected to you all that is in the heavens and all that is in the earth. It is all as a favor and kindness from God the Almighty. Verily in it are signs for a people who think deeply. So we are always encouraged to study the science, to study the universe, and explore it.
Another thought that occurs to me based on the verses that you just read, that we have subjected these creations to you, O mankind. Consequently, there is nothing beyond the reach of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the concept used to be before man got to the moon, oh, there is no way man can get there. It would be against the teachings of, or against religious teachings. So all those concepts go away, and in fact, they were not supposed to be there, because in the Quran 1400 years ago, Quran told us that these things have been created as your subjects, that you are going to be able to manage them, control them.
Well, you know that science only gives us theories in the beginning, and unless it has been established by particular methods, we don't believe in those theories.
Right.
But what Quran tells us, these are not theories. These are established facts, because these things are not from any person, from any human being. Right. These are from the creator of the human being, or creator from every creature. So whatever Quran tells us, we believe that this is the truth, whether science agrees with it or it does not agree with it. Because as Galileo said, that sun is not stationary, and by this crime he was killed.
Yeah, he lost his life. But
But Quran told us that everything in space is floating, right, revolving and rotating in the space. So we believe in it.
Yeah. Another thing you mentioned, you know, that God Almighty says that we created life from water.
Yeah.
And it took hundreds of years for science to come to that conclusion, that
Sure.
yes, all life originated in water.
Sure.
So, okay, I think we have a very limited time, but let's start the discussion. Now we have this planet, now we have human beings on this. Does Quran tell us anything how this universe is going to come to an end?
Yes. As I've told in the beginning, that God the Almighty has a plan, and there is a beginning of everything, and there is an ending of everything, except God the Almighty Himself. He has no ending and He has no beginning. He was there, and he is not limited in the limits of time and space. For example, we read in Surah Ahqaf, which means the curved sand hills, verse number 3. It says, مَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. We created not the heavens and the earth and all that is between them, except with truth and for an appointed term. There is an appointed term for these all heavens and all earths and whatever it is between the heavens and the earth. And we also read in Surah or chapter Ibrahim, which is the 14th chapter of the Holy Quran, in verse 48. It says, on the day when the earth will be changed to another earth, and so will be the heavens. They shall also be changed. And all the creatures will appear before God, the One, the Irresistible. It would be the day of judgment when this entire universe shall come to an end, and this entire system will be changed. There would be no more this system which is prevailing nowadays. For example, we read in Surah Al-Infitar. Let me recite it from the Holy Quran. This surah is surah number 82. We may read it from the beginning, 7 verses. It says, when the heaven is cleft asunder, and when the stars have fallen and scattered, and when the seas are burst forth, and when the graves are turned upside down and bring out their contents, then a person will know that he has sent that what he has sent forward and what he has left behind of good or bad deeds. This is for sure the day of judgment. O man, what has made you careless about your Lord, the most generous, who created you, fashioned you perfectly, and gave you due proportion. So these verses tell us that this universe has to come to an end, and that day would be the day of judgment, the day of reckoning. That day we shall all get together, and we shall be standing in front of God the Almighty, and we shall be held responsible for our deeds.
I appreciate this enlightenment. I think we're just about out of time for this segment. And I must mention for the benefit of the viewers, and this is part 1 of our 2-part discussion on as to why we are here. And please join us for the discussion on the next part. I would like to thank you, Hafiz Malik, and I'd like to thank the viewers at home for joining us. We hope to see you next week at the same time. May God Almighty guide us all. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.
حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله